welcome back. All right, so as you can see, the hockey Christmas tree is up. I do have cats and rabbits. We'll see how well it does. There are no wires that are down though. That's the thing you have to watch for with rabbits. They will chew through wires, so I don't have to worry about that. There you go. All right, so Wild Blue Yonder was on last night. Newest episode of Doctor Who, the latest of the 2023 specials. We are getting closer to the Christmas episode where Ncuti Gatwa will take over as the new Doctor, and I'm excited about that. I am, and last night's episode was great. So if you're not wanting spoilers, if you're on the fence about watching it, I would say watch it. Honestly, great episode. Just so well put together, so well done. That being said, so again, if you're worried about spoilers, don't watch on. But I kind of have to. Unlike last week's episode, it feels like I kind of have to talk about stuff that's a spoiler because they didn't tell us anything. Just that the TARDIS runs away, that there's something dangerous, and that he also doesn't have the sonic screwdriver, which I thought was great. One thing that Doctor Who has made the mistake of in the past, and I'm glad they're not making that mistake here, is relying on the sonic screwdriver too much. It got to the point of ridiculousness during the Matt Smith era, where no matter what situation he was in, oh, I've got my sonic, and he could just fix it with the sonic screwdriver. And I remember thinking at that point, so the sonic can do absolutely anything. That's not great. And then for a while there with Peter Capaldi's Doctor, they did take the sonic screwdriver away. I think they realized it was a crutch, and so they took it away so that they could tell stories in a bit of a different manner, and we weren't just sitting around waiting for him to use the sonic to get himself out of a mess. So last night, he didn't have that option, right? And I keep saying last night because that's when I watched it. But I did watch it after all the hockey and after my power rankings, so I'm really tired. Saturday nights I'm normally very tired, ready to just go to bed, go to sleep. All of my videos are all done. Last night, no, I was like, oh, I almost forgot Doctor Who. And so that's a feeling I haven't had since the last season of Peter Capaldi, where I was like, all right, Doctor Who's on. Now, the Bill season, because Bill was the companion that season, it wasn't as good. It was not as good. I had a lot of concerns at the time, which happens when they bring in a new companion, they change something up. You have some concerns, and they were realized, and then we get into Jodie Whittaker's Doctor era, and I was never excited about any of those episodes. The first couple episodes, I was like, all right, Doctor Who time, and I made sure I watched it that day. And then by about the third episode, I was like, I can wait. This can wait. I remember thinking, maybe if I binge watch it, it'll be better. Nope. So, one thing they did do last night was they did address the Timeless Child. They did address the idea that the Doctor doesn't really know where he's from. He's not really from Gallifrey. So, I was fine with that. I was fine with that and the way they presented it. I do think we're in for some kind of a soft reboot at the end of the next episode, which is just titled The Giggle. And I'm looking forward to that one too. But this was great. The TARDIS drops them off, and then he sticks the sonic screwdriver into the keyhole on the TARDIS, and it leaves. So it's sort of like starting your car, and then it drives up and takes off on you, and you kind of hope it comes back. But the TARDIS, one thing too I wanted to mention here is that in the Chris Chibnall era, it felt like the TARDIS was treated like it was a machine. And we know from previous eras that it has a personality, it is absolutely its own individual, and that the idea of destroying a TARDIS, you're destroying a life form, right? And that was kind of not really the way it was during the Jodie Whittaker era, and now it's back, where it has its own personality. I do think that there's some kind of hijacking that's gone on with the with it as well, and I think we're going to find that out in the next episode. But even if it's not, it's fine. So they end up in really the middle of nowhere, so outside of our universe, which is fascinating because he mentioned humans can't conceive of an area that's outside the universe where there's actually nothing. And going back to when I was in grade 4, I had a debate with a friend of mine that we summed up a simple way. The universe has to have an end, but it can't. Meaning, if all the stars end, but if you can still travel through whatever's beyond that last star of the universe, it's still technically part of the universe, right? So that was the argument we had at the time. And of course, there are scientists who say that for all intents and purposes, it goes on forever. But for the episode, it was kind of nice to see them with no stars. And I picked up on that right away. I was like, okay, there's no stars. I thought we were at the end of the universe. We've done that before where it says the universe is going dark. But in this case, it was outside of the universe. And I thought that they did a really good job with the storylines. I'm not going to tell all the details of the episode because I feel like that kind of ruins it. Like, spoilers are one thing, but going through and detailing all of the everything that happened, I did think that it was really well done. That David Tennant and Catherine Tate are the only characters in the first 55 minutes of the show. At the end, you get Wolford, and man, I'll get to that. But this threat on the ship that is basically trying to get to our universe because it wants to wipe our universe out and just go star to star and just cause destruction. The Doctor figures out pretty quickly, can't let that happen, and figures out what's going on with the robot. I will say the robot, and I did watch it behind the scenes and how they made it. He reminded me of Marvin, the android from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The first thing I thought when I saw him was that looks like the really depressed android from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the way it's described in the books. So I thought that was fun, and I don't think that was intentional from what I saw the behind the scenes stuff, but I thought it was nice. I did. I thought it was a fun little touch there. Um, but it was really well done. Again, it's just the two. So there's an evil version of the Doctor and Donna, and there's Doctor and Donna, and you have to figure out which one's which. Now I read a review where they said they felt like it was a little bit too much by the end. I didn't think so. I thought it was really well done throughout. I thought that it really showed a lot of range for the Doctor and for Donna. It added a lot of depth to their relationship as well. And I will agree with people that are speculating that at the end of 14's run, which is only 3 episodes long, he will end up going off with Donna. That to me makes some sense, that you'd have a version of the Doctor retire to, spend the rest of his days with Donna. And I don't know how that would look. I don't know what that would be like. Obviously hanging around with their family and everything. But it's an interesting idea of the Doctor just being tired thousands of years, wanting to stop, and then a new version of the Doctor, which is what we would get in the Christmas special and then the season that follows. I think that's great. I think that'll work. I absolutely think that'll work. Whatever they do, I have full faith in Russell T Davies. There were a couple of times last night where I paused the episode to say, "This is Doctor Who. They've got it back. It's their mojo is back. This is what the show is supposed to be like." And again, was there a morality play? Nope, none. Um, it was just these two characters with two villains, and them trying to figure out how they're going to get out of this really, deadly situation. I thought the special effects were good. I've seen too some people complaining about, well, the special effects are kind of dodgy here. Have you watched Doctor Who? Dodgy special effects are kind of their thing, and honestly, I thought the special effects were really well done. Again, I watched the behind the scenes where it shows how they layered everything up. I thought it was well done. I did. Obviously, they're not in this gigantic ship that's miles long, but who cares? Like it was a good episode. I didn't find that there was any special effects that took me out of the episode. Seeing how that robot was put together and all the work that went into it, I was fascinated by that, because that's where it feels like most shows or movies made now would be like, we'll just CGI one in. We're not going to bother with that. That's too much work. But in this case, yeah, it's stop motion they used for that robot. And I'm really impressed by that. I thought it was really good. And again, it feels nice to enjoy Doctor Who again. It's been so long. It's been so long. It feels like it's been a decade since I really, really, and truly enjoyed this show. And again, when I've reviewed TV shows on here, very often it hasn't been complimentary. It hasn't been that things were great. But in this case, Wild Blue Yonder was so well done. I was terrified at the end, and I genuinely felt terrified at certain parts of this episode. When you have the Doctor and Donna talking to doubles that they don't realize aren't really them. That was something. That was really, really something right there. And now there's the question too of when Donna, had this awakening within her mind. Did she see everything that's happened with the Doctor from when they parted until now? And she says no, but is that information there? Does Rose have that information? So that's a question too. Is when Rose comes back into the picture, I would think in the next episode, could she have that information? Could she be aware of here's what the Doctor's done, here's what he's been through? Because it is a long time. The 11th Doctor was around for hundreds of years. The 12th Doctor wasn't around that long, but I don't know how many years the 12th Doctor was around. And then, of course, Jodie Whittaker's Doctor, not around as long, but again, it feels like it's obviously been a very long time since he saw Donna. A lot has happened, and I do think that that's where we're going to see this end up, is that he's going to have to talk to her. And there's a lot of stuff that's happened that obviously would be upsetting for him. And again, it comes down to the Doctor kind of keeping himself isolated, staying away from people. It's never good for him when he does that. So yeah, we'll see how it all turns out. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, if you watched the episode, what did you think? Again, I don't want to spoil too much of it if you haven't seen it, because I thought it was so well written. Just so well written. But let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I will say this is one final thing. Doctor Who is a show that's watched a lot by kids. I think there were parts of last night's episode that, for the reasons of some of the tension and just how scary some of it was, might be a little bit much for some younger kids, but man, it's well put together. So thank you so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.